Hello, everybody. How are you? We are here live again for the third Reply Investment Challenge live webinar. I'm changing the virtual background. Yes, now it's right. And welcome again. We are live. It's 3 minutes to 5 o'clock, so we are starting 3 minutes before the official beginning, but it's fine because we have so many things to discuss and hopefully collecting many questions about this investment challenge that started on March the 30th. And so we are about the fourth day of competition. Many people playing with us. We'll give you some numbers in a while. But first of all, let me rename myself. That's the most important part, of course. We have, the possibility to welcome all my mates in this fantastic live streaming thing. And so again, hello everybody. Hello, I would like to start from Eleonora, of course. Ladies first. Ciao Eleonora, how are you? Can you hear us, Eleonora? Switch on your mic if it's not yet. Maybe, okay, we will start with the others. Mr. Paolo Fabris. Paolo, ciao.
Morning, Enrico. Afternoon, maybe.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, I know it has been our night tonight for you and many others, actually. So that's great. I see Eleonora coming back. Hope she can hear us. In the meanwhile, hello again to Emi. Ciao, Eleonora. Welcome on board. And together with you and Paolo, we have part of the Reply Titanium team, the team of repliers in charge of designing this fantastic challenge. We have Emilio. Ciao, Emilio.
Hello, Enrico. How are you?
Hi
am
there.
so fine. We are here again, so I am so glad about it.
Yeah, that's it for us as well. Of course, we are all, as you know, following the challenge in a remote mode. So working from home, actually, in smart working mode. So again, if you see anything may happen during these and the following live streaming, including kids passing by ourselves or so on. Anyhow, we'll continue the greetings with Mr. Davide Cagnati. Ciao, Davide.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here again with you.
That's great. And we can close the loop with Mr. Matteo Fatale from Starting Finance Community. Ciao, Matteo.
Hello, everybody.
Hi there. Fine for you as well? Everything good?
Yeah, a little. Just a little.
All right. We'll be back to you, of course, during our live streaming to have some kind of insights about the market, and waiting at 5:30 for the closure of the Italian market. And right now we are live on YouTube platform, and of course we have spread the live streaming link on Telegram, on the Challenges platform, and so on. We are collecting and welcoming people following us live right now. I kindly remind you that you can use the live chat present on the YouTube page in order to post your questions, of course, and just to say hello to everybody. I see people just shaking hands. We see a couple of questions already coming about the ranking and so on. I like to start by reminding you that on challenges.reply.com platform, we have updated the list of frequently asked questions with some new answers that were, of course, coming up right after the first 48 hours of game. So please give a look at challenges.reply.com investment challenge FAQ section, because many questions might find a proper answer by just reading those few lines. I kindly ask to the Reply Challenges team maybe just to post that link on the live chat panel in order to give an highlight to all of them. Then, furthermore, we have. I would like to start by commenting the first, the first 3 days of live game. First of all, thank you all, guys. We have many interactions, many people playing together with us. I would like to remind you that more than 8,500 registrations we collected during the promotional campaign. We have pretty much 50% of those right now playing on BG Saxo platform and on challenges.reply.com as well by following the inputs, share the daily inputs and the glitch. That is a new thing I would like to explain in a minute. But actually, people playing actually by following the different updates present on the platform. We have, just to give you some insight that of course will be updated in the meanwhile of the game, we have pretty much the 30% of people right now with a positive outlook in terms of economics results, and pretty much 70% right now on a negative outlook. I hope this is clear. I'm using the right phrase. Davide, can you help me?
Yeah, we can say that 30% of them are above the initial million, while the other 70% are losing some money.
Okay, thank you for the better explanation. I would like to give you another number that might be interesting. We have right now more than 63,000 hours of playing on the platform. That is a huge number that on average are about 21 hours per player. That is kind of a results in terms of people actively playing together with us. We have already passed a kind of milestone that is, on average, each player have done more than 32 trades. That is, I would like to kindly remind you, the limit, the limitation we made in order to not receive any kind of penalties. So that's a list of stats that we like to share with you. I can add that in total we have seen more than 93,000 trades. That is another important number. And again, that's just for the first 3.5 days of playing. We'd like to give you updates about that in the next live streaming that we'll have in the upcoming days. I see many people following us right now, collecting questions right now on the live chat on YouTube. What to add for these first minutes of live streaming? We may say that as you have experienced, we have a technical issue related to CFD. I kindly invite all my live streaming mates to complete my sentence in case I say something that is not completely correct. The kind of bug present on the platform has been solved. We are, of course, sorry about it. It was not expected, of course, as all the bugs. The BG Saxo technical team had solved it right after the high number of notification we received from the community. We even try, of course, first of all, to investigate, and we try to formulate any kind of, how to say, to implement a kind of policy that might help the people that have been affected by this malfunction. Actually, we haven't solved, we haven't found a way in order to make something that was fair for the whole community, for everyone. So we are sorry, of course, about that. Again, we are thinking that since the challenge is not in these final days and we have many hours of playing ahead of us, we hope that you have time in order to compensate somehow the problem that you may have experienced. I would like to remind, as we said in the past live streaming 2 days ago, that we are leveraging on the BG Saxo platform. That is a demo version of a trading platform right now used in order for a simulation purpose. That is not, of course, the goal of the BG Saxo platform. It's not a challenge native platform. We are leveraging on this platform in order to have a game. And of course, we may have experienced, as the case of the CFD issue, some kind of problem. We hope that anyhow you are having a nice experience playing with us. We see, actually thousands of people already playing with us, and that's a very great news. We hope that at the end of this first online round, with the target of having the final round for the best of you on April 24th, so in some days from now, the experience you have is enough in order to select the greater of you, the most passionate people and actually the ones that are performing at their best in order of being selected for the final round on April 24th. I say so much that I'd like to ask Eleonora, Emilio, Paolo, Davide, anyone who wants to complete this sentence regarding the first 3 days of playing.
Okay, Enrico, I will just would like to
Paolo, please. Yes.
Sorry, go back to the technical issue we experienced yesterday. Unfortunately, I mean, as you said, it was a problem, a technical problem that showed up during the morning, and we investigated throughout all the day and solved it in the night. I would say that's life. I mean, shit happens, and
I would say that we are living in a period in which actually it happens far from more, but that's just to have a laugh together, of course.
Yeah, there's a lot of happening.
yeah.
Sorry. So what we experienced was just that. Unfortunately, there were drawbacks due to that happening. However, I would say we're in the beginning of the challenge, so there's time to recover for everybody. The number as of today, the numbers you presented, so more than 1/3 of the participants are gaining money, which is already above expectation, because as you can see in all the, let's say, investment platform on the internet, generally speaking, between 70 and 75% of the investors are losing money when trading with CFDs. So I would say that in this case, our statistics are beating the market, even with the drawback that was there yesterday. Apart from that, what we have seen is that there are players that are really good in taking advantage in the situation, from the market situation, I mean. And as it happened in the first few days, also yesterday, but today probably even more, we are living a very volatile market. Probably later Matteo will present us the information related to yesterday and today, but today we will see already a very volatile situation due to the what's happening in the market.
Thank you, Paolo. You gave us a kind of assist in order to, before approaching the questions coming on YouTube, on the live chat. Again, welcome everybody. This is the third Reply Investment Challenge live streaming in order to comment the progress about this huge challenge we are all playing in. I had this question open to all of you, of course. We discussed a lot about the target of this kind of investment challenge. I mean, even if money, of course, it's something so common. I mean, so common. It's something that it's interesting for everybody, of course, and specifically the trading, the way, of course, of investing your own money in order to gain some profit are something that which interest is spread all around the world, and it's actually even dedicated. I mean, I would like to say promising for this kind of online challenge. The level. Difficult level of this kind of challenge is not for everybody. That's something we may stress. I would say we are inclusive, of course. We are more than happy of seeing many people playing with us, and please leave it as a learning experience, as something that might train yourself in being a better trader. But we are not that surprised, I would like to say that just 30% of 3,000 players right now are on an active field. have gained more than 1 million against 70% of people that are losing money, even if fake, right now. Your comments about this, guys? May we start with Davide? Why not to start with the youngest of us?
Well, when it comes to the data that we have from our first third day and a half, we can say, of the competition, it's interesting to see how, as we said, 30% of them is gaining some money, And it's interesting to see how they choose their favorite asset classes, because we can see that for most of them, almost 60%, the favorite asset class that's chosen is stocks. While at this last place, we see contract options, maybe because they are more difficult to trade or too static for this competition. And when it comes to individual portfolio, we have analyzed that stocks are the major part for almost everyone, since 66% of them choose stocks, followed by Forex and future. CFD, as Paolo said, are really risky, and so only 20% of them are actually choosing CFD. Our analysis could be that maybe only the most expert investor, only the one maybe that read all the learning material, are ready to trade stock CFDs, and so they are the only one doing so. It's interesting to see that bonds, even they are maybe we can say more simple for some aspects, are also at the bottom of the choices, maybe because they are considered too static for such a competition like this. Thank you.
I think that kind of analysis may help. I would like to know in the experience of Matteo from Starting Finance, what are your thoughts about that? Who is the best target for this kind of challenge? You are on mute. Yeah.
Who is the best target? It's not an easy question. It depends on your time horizon, if you're trading intraday or not, if you're trading for the last days. There is not a unique answer for this question. For example, personally, I'm using a CFD because I know how they work, I know how to manage the sizes, and it depends on the experience of the players.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I would like to get a deep dive. I mean, the kind of players we are targeting are experience something that is difficult by design. I would say by the general experience. I mean, that's not only something for I would say a not professional trader. That might be the reason why, again, right now, just the 30% of the players are gaining money and not all of them.
Yes, this is also a high percentage because because on the markets, usually 95% of the people lose money. So
it's a good number for now.
A good number, given that it is a game. So
yeah, of course. Okay, Eleonora or Emilio, something to add about that?
I totally agree with what Matteo said, because it's important to focus on what is the target and cover the position in order to achieve the result. So I think that Matteo explained in the best way possible what has to be done to achieve the result. I don't know if Eleonora would like to add something about that.
What do you mean, sorry?
I don't know if Eleonora can hear us. Right now, we have lost your voice, Eleonora, for now. You can hear us, but we cannot hear you. We may drive back to Matteo that was asking to Emilio a better explanation of your answer. Then we'll move to the questions from YouTube.
Yes, I think that going deep, analyzing what is the market situation and figuring it out how to solve the volatility of the market and try to follow the market, try to not be a passive part of what the market is going, is really, really helpful to understand and win. I think that this word can really simplify the concept to what is what every guy is listening us is trying to reach.
Okay, hope that it clarifies better your answer. I would move to some questions collecting right now on YouTube chat. We are live again. It's 17 minutes right after 5 o'clock in Central European Solar Time. We have Leonardo asking something that might be wise to answer for everybody. Are there any difference between finishing 99th or first during this stage of the challenge, during this online round? I would say no, but maybe it's better to target the question to Eleonora. Can you hear us?
Yeah,
yes.
are you hearing
me?
Now
we can hear you too. Yes, we can.
No, there is no difference. I mean, every one that entered in the first 100 of winners of this online challenge will be invited, can enter in the final. So really, you can use these 9 days of trading, maybe even not even you can take some risk, even if it's a competition right now, because the most important part is, of course, the final.
Okay, so hope it answer, and for everybody, of course, I would add that in being the first, anyhow, you'll be better than the 99th ranked, but that's something that might not affect that will not affect the final round, but would of course help you in giving you a feedback on how are you playing. I would ask if it's possible to the Reply Challenges team to copy and paste a very long question made from our friend Nicolo. It's a three-part different a question split in 3 different parts, and I would like to maybe to target this to Paolo Fabris. So if we can have this question directly sent to Paolo, might help to prepare an answer. Actually, 4th part, so quite long. In the meanwhile, we have 5 parts. Yes, Nicolo, you're right. I can give you another question. Just let me scroll a bit the long list. Domenico is asking, how is it possible that the first in the rank has made 1.8 million in profit? Is it respecting the inputs? I would say that that's a question that maybe Emilio, would you like to answer the question made by Domenico?
Yes, Enrico. I think that Domenico is asked. I think that Domenico should ask to the guy that has performed so much. But before that, I would like to try to explain, because I can see that there are a lot of questions about rankings, and so I would like to simplify what are the criteria. How the rankings are calculated, because yes, it's true that this guy is doing a really good job, but it's important to focus on all the rules, because yes, the global profit and loss is one of the criteria used to define the global and the daily ranking. But it's important to focus also on the other rules. In particular, if we are thinking about the global ranking, the global profit and loss is the first rule that assigns the first position. But there are also other 4 rules, because we have think about all the possible scenarios on all about what could happen. In particular, I think that the second rule is the daily profit and loss that should be addressed in case the global profit and loss is the same for 2 different participants to the challenge, and also the total number of trades and the asset class that has been used. So to answer to Domenico, I think that the first is doing a really good job, but also the other guys, all you are doing a good job, because 1,000 people with a profit that have made a profit in 3 days of game is an achievement. Also seeing the markets and the global situation that we are going through. So this is my opinion, Enrico.
Thank you very much for answering. I would say that is again part of the frequently asked questions we have listed and answered, and you can find them to all the players can find them in the FAQ section on challenges.reply.com. It may help even better understanding what is the role of the inputs in general and how this kind of role-playing game is shaped, and even how your actions related to the inputs might have a results on the ranking and on your profits, of course. Paolo, we have sent to you, if I'm right, the long question shared by Niccolò. Yeah, so I will pass you the mic in order to answer, please.
Yes, so very interesting question, and it seems that this guy knows what he's saying. The point is that, what he's writing is correct, and that is the base of the difference between trading and hedging, or let's say speculating and hedging. Why by speculating I don't absolutely mean something bad. Absolutely, that's the common sense on the word that is not used in the right way. However, the difference, just to give a couple of hints, is that when you have something to protect, to hedge, you're hedging. So you're protecting your investment, your good, your gain, your wealth. If you don't hold the underlying asset, you're going to speculate. So in this case, the example provided by the participant, by the player, is related to a situation where I'm going to sell something I do not hold. That is not the case of our inputs. So our inputs are based on the fact that we're going to buy something, not to sell something. If we were going to sell some copper, in the example provided by the player, that would have been speculation in the game we are playing, because in this game we don't hold the copper. But since that we are going to buy something, in this case we are not speculating, but we are hedging our future position. So that's the main difference. That's the reason why there will not be situation or inputs where you're going to sell something you don't hold. Apart from this, there was another point that I would like to highlight, taking the move from this very smart question, and merge this with the other question that we got related to the first classified guy as of today, of course, that is gaining over 1.8. I mean, not gaining, but its position is 1.8.
Yes, 1.8 million.
Yeah. The objective of the challenge is what they call the smart hedging process, or the dynamic hedging process. How can it be the case? Again, we are mixing two components: the hedging components and the trading components, the speculating component. When I said in the first day, I don't know if some of you remembers what I said last Friday at our first live webinar. We are looking to only, generally speaking, partially protect our positions. Partially because we might want to take advantage of particular market movements that are quite frequent as of today, given the market situation, the volatile market situation we are living in. So probably I didn't have the chance to go through the different trades of the first classified as of today, but probably what he's doing is just to, let's say, partially hedge his positions in order to maintain a certain amount of volatility in its portfolio, but probably was particularly good in, let's say, leveraging the right side of the risk. This is due to ability, due to being able to read the market movements, some, let's say, lucky positions. Sometimes, of course, what we see in Italian, the C factor is always there. So there are just all these components that are going to leverage and to be leveraged on in order to gain a first position. Another hint, sorry, Enrico, but recalling what we said in the first part of this webinar, remember that all the first 100 classified on the online game will be invited to the final. So being invited to the final doesn't, being the first one or the 100th one is not going to create any prejudice in your participation to the final, because the final will be lined up, everybody will be lined up at €1 million again. So
of pretend money, we want to remind everyone of pretend money.
We're talking about blue money in this case, of course.
Exactly.
So but the first one, like the last one, classified during this pre-challenge phase, will be at the same position. So on the 24th of April, all the first 100 participants will be at the same point to take advantage of the last chance day.
Yeah, I would like to add together with Emilio another aspect that is related to the write-ups documentation that we will ask in order to better analyze your kind of investment trading strategy. That is a core value in order to measure how you play and how do you react to the inputs. We are constantly receiving questions from people asking, how do you measure that? How would these the scope of these constant input part of the game?
Yes, Enrico. The inputs have a scope. So we have defined the inputs, hoping that all the participants to the challenge will follow that. But we doesn't only focus on the people that are following that, because the investment strategy that every mutant is following will be analyzed. So it's important because yes, we can see that something is asking what does these inputs are used for, why we have to follow the inputs, why we have to cover from these, or why we have to hedge. The focus is that the investment strategies will be analyzed. Every portfolio will be analyzed. Every day we analyze the global situation of all the participants to the challenge, and we will do the same also on the final round in order to give the correct compensation, I would say, to the people that really has followed the inputs and have applied the investment strategies also to earn some money, of course, but also in order to hedge. And so the inputs, even if you could decide to not follow, we will analyze it in order to give the best and the most correct evaluation to every participant to the challenge. This is really important, I think, Enrico, that all the guys are really, it's really clear, this concept. Yeah. I don't know, Enrico. What do you think?
I deeply agree with you. We since even Paolo, you mentioned the market situation, I think it's the right time to involve Matteo Fatale from Starting Finance Community in order to give us an update related to the market situation, and even collecting maybe some questions from you guys in order to and reach the value of this webinar live on YouTube. It's 5:32 minutes Central European Solar Time. Everyone live from his home, and we can move to Matteo.
Okay, thank you, Enrico. I start sharing the screen.
Yes, please.
Well, starting from the main Italian index, which is the FTSE MIB, we have here a slight decrease from the past 2 days from the previous webinar. And today we see a great recovery from the previous position due to reasons that we will see later, due to a Trump's tweet about the oil. Then, looking at the DAX, the most important German index, we can see a great correlation, and also seeing that S&P 500, it's obvious the correlation that it's almost 1, given this social shocks in this case. So possibilities here, I think here we have a great zone of support. Then confirming this increase today will be a sign of an important shock to arise. Then moving to commodities and looking at the gold. Just a second. Okay. Here we have an anomalous rise because of Russia stopped the purchases of these commodities. It's reasonable to think at a selling phase given the price of oil and natural gas. But here, inserting my indicator, that is Ichimoku, what we can see? We can see that the volatility is going to end here. So it's my expectation is the start of a lateral phase now. Maybe between here this two zone. Then looking at the oil, what we said before, after a great collapsing phase, today we see an increase of about 5-6% due to the Trump's tweet that I was talking before. He said that he was talking with Mohammed bin Salman and Putin about cutting of the oil production. So it's normal that the oil price will rise in the next sessions. Then, looking at the natural gas, on the other hand, we don't have the same correlation. We have another session in another decreasing session, and this is not normal. So it's normal that Russia is going to sell all the gold accumulated in the previous years. Then, talking about the forex, and starting with euro-dollar, what we can see. Here we have a great confirm of the great volatility seen in the previous weeks. But today, talking personally, I can think to a rise in the next session due to the decisions of the European Central Bank and the Federal Reserve. So they are the main market mover in this moment. Then we have euro pound, so the cable. What we can see a recovering from the suffering of the last weeks. Also here there is great volatility, and it's normal that after a great volatility time there is moderating phase. Then, looking at the pound-dollar, we have the same correlation, the same negative correlation. So after a great loss seen by the pound, we have here a little recovery and a little lateral phase. If you can
Sorry
see.
for interrupting, Matteo. We have a question live coming from YouTube directly to you. It's another Matteo asking, and is writing, could you provide an analysis of on the WTI? How much do you think that last Trump's tweets will affect the market? I don't have in mind the latest Trump's tweets, to be honest. Maybe you, we can look for them, of course. I can imagine, by the way, but do you have an answer for that?
Well, it's an intelligent question. As
If
what
Davide has the latest Trump tweets, we can have a read
Yes,
on that.
the Trump said 1 hour ago that he congratulated the Crown Prince, MBS, and Putin for cutting the oil production and hoping that the price will rise faster. And probably is saying so because the oil market in the United States is suffering right now because they have higher production costs. And so he's trying to safeguard his national interest in this field.
well,
Okay, thanks, Davide. Matteo, to
as
you.
we said 2 days before, we are not wizard, but this is anomalous. This decrease here is anomalous, so it's normal to see an opposite movement now. So my advice is the possibility to buy here, and personally, maybe I'm gonna do it.
Is there any feedback from all the others? Davide, Paolo, Emilio, Eleonora?
I'm not a wizard too, but I agree with Matteo. Maybe in a couple of days, this could be a good strategy. In the long run, it's not easy to impose a price only by doing proclaims on Twitter, we can say. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we have just to complete. Comments are coming live, so I want to complete the discussion, or actually to give you another input from our friend Marco, who's saying the other big news today was the jobless claim report in the US, which doubled to 6.6 million from last week. That is again a huge number since last week was 3.1, if I'm right, and now it's again doubled. This is huge, of course. It's of course even a very bad news, but in an investment strategy, what might be the outcomes? How they can affect the strategies of our players? Matteo, do you have any? Yeah, to you or anybody else?
It's a hard question. I really don't know now. I really don't know. This is
okay. Open to the others, of course. Is there anything that might happen in the investment strategy of our players? Just as an example, due to these news, that is the jobless claim report in the US. I repeat,
the only
which
thing
has doubled to.
sorry, Davide. The person I'm talking, I cannot have an answer at this moment. So continue, Davide.
Okay. That's it. Davide, you have something to add?
Well, I'm not a wizard too, but what I can think about is that these 8 million people and the last 3 million of last week will need the cash in the short run. So probably they are going to sell their position, close their position. So we have to monitor these people and see how their reaction can influence the volatility or the price on the market, I would say.
Yeah, sorry, Enrico, from
Please.
the macroeconomic point of view, generally speaking, when the unemployment goes up, the actions taken by the Federal Reserve are to lower the interest rates to, let's say, speed up the industry recover. So the interest rate going down usually depresses the dollar. So my possible guess on this, again, not a wizard, but is that this is going to have a lower value of the dollar against the euro. That might be a consequence in the very short run. Again, in these days, we have seen quite a lot of volatility also in the euro-dollar situation. Not only, of course, not as high as the one we saw in the stock market, of course, but probably the dollar will be a bit depressed against euro or pound sterling or other currencies. That might be one of the situations that we're going to face in the short term.
And Paolo, when you talk about cutting interest rates by the Feds or maybe the ABC, and how far they can go by doing this, in your opinion?
I mean, they are at the lowest possible level right now. So generally,
that's it.
generally,
no risk of a liquidity trap or something.
That's the risk. Yes, that's the risk. Of course, they have to be, but you know, the difference between Fed and BCE in general is that Fed, if you look at the history, Fed uses a lot the interest rate as a leverage tool. I mean, they move it very, very often, and they use it as a tool very, very quickly. They react very quickly to the market, while BCE generally it's very, very lazy or very, I would say, cautious in using that leverage. You can see that generally speaking, you see a straight line in the line of ECB interest rate, while there's a sinus going curve when you're looking at the Fed movements. So probably they might also think to even lower or close to zero rates in the very short run, and being back to something more positive in maybe 3 months from now. So generally speaking, I like that part. Fed is by far more reactive than the BCE. So no problem in, let's say, reaching zero level, because they're used to move very quickly.
Thank you, Paolo, for the answer. The discussion is going on actually with. I would say we are moving from just a question and answer webinar to a kind of crowd discussion on the YouTube chat. We are live 44 minutes after 5 p.m. Central European time. We have people commenting, and I would like to report you another comment made by, we have Everton saying, I think that we are handling two important events, the COVID-19 that we are living in, of course, emergency, plus the oil war price. So if Trump reacts with one of the big problem, for sure will impact positive positions. I guess is referring to the, yes, to the positive position, but even the negative one for now. And another comment made by Matteo, who is, in my opinion, Trump's tweet was only a way to divert the market attention from the shocking news about initial jobless claims. That might be an answer too, in terms of diverting attention. Matteo.
It could be, but in the following weeks, we will face another increase of jobless requests. So it's just, if it's true, it's just a little way to distract, but it's not. Personally talking, other talking about the price. Yes, we can see an increase, but I think it's going to be a lateral phase also this one. So yes, it could be a way to distract, but I consider Trump too stupid to do a thing like that. Personally.
Okay. That might be part of the discussion. We have many other questions coming from the live chat. I think we can involve. Raffaele is asking, I cannot follow the inputs without edging myself from following the inputs themselves. It might be a bit recursive, if I'm right. I can add a comment made by Raffaele slightly before, that is, we have to look at the short term, and for this reason, buying or selling a future or trying to follow an hedging strategy without owning the underlying asset, I think is bad for the portfolio balance. It's a kind of comment, I guess, driven by the inputs Raffaele and the other players are following. Is this something that I have to repeat? Maybe Emilio or Eleonora, do you want to answer?
So I'm reading.
Wow, Emilio, at least for me, your audio is quite bad. Yes, we can hear you, Emilio, but please switch to mute again because your voice is very hard to understand. You're kind of from a starship. I don't know from where. Yeah, no worries. I would involve Eleonora. Are you in?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure of the question, but you should protect the, I don't know, the purchase of gold or whatever in the long period. You should use derivatives that are long term, and so you have to make provision on the long term, and maybe you don't own the asset because you are a manufacturing company, so you have to buy the asset, and of course it doesn't appear on your platform, on your trading platform. But as in the real case, you have to buy something and maybe you sell later, and so these are my considerations.
Enrico, allow me
Paolo, please.
Yeah, to add something. I saw a lot of questions related to the fact that following the input to hedge might not be the best way to gain money. I mean, this is probably the topic where we are looking around from the very first day of this challenge. When you're hedging your portfolio in a company, in a corporation as a treasurer, you're not looking to gain money from your activity. You're looking to hedge yourself and to protect yourself. If you have to be paid a certain amount of dollar in the future, you want to be sure that that certain amount of dollar in the future is going to be equal to some amount of euros, for example, because we are living in euros, let's say, today and at a certain date in the future. That's the hedging purposes. Then you can think you might take profit from the dollar movement in the future, but that is not hedging, that's speculating. Again, it's not bad at all. But the smart hedging technique is the one that allows you to, let's say, take some risk where you think you might be gaining something, otherwise be hedged. So the point is, if we were perfectly hedged, probably, and if everybody would have followed the 100% hedging, let's say, techniques in the portfolio, probably everybody would have been stuck at the same level, because perfectly hedging means not gaining or losing anything. Otherwise, it wouldn't be hedging. Okay.
Of course.
The difficult part is to take advantage of the situation, hedge the vast majority, or what you consider the most important part of your portfolio. And by portfolio, it means activities. So payments, duties, purchase, etc. And take some risk, some calculated risk in part of your other portfolio. That's the point. And that's the reason why there might be movements that are significant, even though people might be following the input that are given.
I would say, to add, that many questions coming up might be even better. And I mean, I would say to the people asking many questions, please do this step before posting. I mean, we are fine with your question, of course, with all of them. So no, we don't want to apply any kind of censorship. But think about the role-playing game we are proposing you. So before posting and proposing a question, think about the proposal we are giving you. Okay, we are giving you a brief, a role-playing game. You are playing as a CFO in a particular kind of company in this reality, in this situation. So think about it, and maybe your understanding might be higher, okay, and might be a different kind of answer to your question as well. Given that, of course, you have to play with your competencies and with the strategy you want to apply. From March 30 to April the 9th, that is the schedule we are giving you for this online round, the first online qualification round, targeting the final, planned on April the 24th. We have some few minutes. I would like to give another input to the players with the learning materials we have on the platform provided by Reply with Banca Generali and the Politecnico di Milano MIP. So Davide, would you like to again to stress this point, that is the learning material available on the platform?
Yeah, exactly. The main goal of this entire competition, well, are not only prizes, but it's learning. We have a lot of learning material on the platform. You can find literally anything you need, from the starting level to the upper level. We have seen this distribution maybe when you chose asset classes in these days from the reports of the competition. And some of you, well, maybe they know more and they use more sophisticated instruments, and it's okay. But some others, maybe they are approaching finance for the first time. Yes, finance is not a game, but we know that you are going to deal with money anyway in your life. So it's better to be prepared to the risks that you're facing, be prepared knowing something, than not be prepared at all in something that you are going to, let's say, compete or do anyway. So I'm stressing it again, learn. The more you can on the platform is there for this reason.
Thank you very much, Davide. We have time for some more question and answer, I guess. I'm just scrolling, so give me a while to give you. I have this nice one. I don't know why, but completely out of scope. Your opinion about Uber and Lyft. Giovanni is asking this. I don't know if it's related, but that's up to you. Uber and Lyft as a sharing platform, I would say.
I think the question maybe is how their stocks are going to be in the future or in the short.
Might be. I think so. Not just as a user, it might be as well. But I
think it's quite a disaster right now because no one could actually use them. So if you're going to invest them, maybe you should think of a more of a long-term strategy. But is Matteo the expert here?
Well, I can share the screen. Just a second.
Please.
Well, this is the graph of Uber. What we can see here, we can see great decrease following exactly the indices, but adding my indicator, we have now a perfect absence of volatility. So in this moment, we could see a great possibility, of an increase or a decrease. It depends on the next weeks, it depends on the next moments. But in this moment, there is no any kind of signal. So I really don't know.
There is an answer to this question made by Marco, another player, with saying, any transportation ticker is a solid hold to me. The big drop already happened, and betting on a sudden recovery is not wise given the challenges timeline. That might be an answer, of course, to the question. We have our last 4 minutes for this third webinar we are offering to our players live on YouTube together with the Reply Titanium team. That is the group of people, of the repliers who have designed this challenge, and with Matteo Fatale from Starting Finance Community. I can read you another question made by, there are some kind of technical question that I would like to leave to the team in order to properly answer. I can read you a question from Of course, many people just saying thanks for the answer received. Another question is this one. I'm using forwards and options to hedge cash inflows and outflows, but the P/L that I will be making will depend on the spot rates much later. How are you going to calculate the results then? I hope, is it clear if I read it right? Paolo?
It's the profit and loss that you're
okay, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
No. Will depend on the spot rates much later. Yes, but at the when we are going to close on April 9th, all the positions will be valued at mark to market at that moment. So whatever the position is open, you're going to be mark to market at that time. So if the option is in the money, it will be valued for that. If a future is as a certain margin, it will be valued with the margin and not only the cash available in the account. So everything will be accounted together at the same time on April 9th. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Paolo. Yes, we can underline that since some people are asking if there will be a certificate about the participation on the investment challenge. As for the other reply challenges, we are producing a certification that you may add to your resume or just to keep it with yourself, of course. And so you're giving me an assist in order to remind you that on challenges.reply.com, many other challenges are available. We are talking about the investment one, of course, for this round, but we are about to approach the creative challenge too. So if you have friends of you want to participate too, you are passionate about digital creativity, you may apply to it. Then the cybersecurity challenge will happen on October, and we have already passed the code challenge one. All of them have interesting training materials available anytime. So you have just to register to the platform and join more than 67,000 people that have already played with us in the past, and we hope, of course, to increase that number in the near future by offering you a new way of entertain, of course, have fun together, playing a team, and most of all, having a new kind of training experience that is Reply offering you. We are about to end our live streaming since it's 1 minute to 6 o'clock. I'll give you another appointment, the meeting for another investment challenge outgoing webinar, as we called it. Today is April the 2nd, so we'll be back on April the 7th next week for another update webinar, and then on April the 9th for the final one, the end of the investment challenge. And so we have another couple of webinars ahead of us. Are you happy, guys? Out of this incredible experience in our first actually investment challenge. So we are more than happy to discover it together with you and together with this huge community of players. Then the appointment will be on April the 24th to face the finals with the best performance of this online round. I guess this is it for today. So thank you very much to all of you. I would say that the meeting is again for April the 7th with all of you. So thank you very much, Matteo from Starting Finance Community, and to all the Reply Challenges Titanium team this time for this investment one. Keep in touch with us on Telegram. The links have been posted to the YouTube chat. You can follow us on ReplyU. On Facebook and Instagram as well. You can, of course, always mention the Reply Titanium team on challenges.reply.com in order to keep in touch with us and possibly to share with us any question you have or some kind of problem you are experiencing in the meanwhile of the game. Thank you very much, you all, and have a great evening. See you next week.
Thank you, Enrico. Good luck to everyone.
Yes, of course. Ciao. Thank you very much, you all. Goodbye. See you.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.